Hello and welcome to episode 92 of the Wisdom from the Akasha Podcast. My name is Suzie, I am your host and I am an Akashic Records teacher and practitioner. Today I want to offer you some tips in respect of preparing for an Akashic Records reading. But before I do that, I want to draw your attention to a couple of things in respect of one-on-one sessions with me. First of all, there is a wait list for booking one-off sessions with me. So whether that's an Akashic Records reading, an Akashic Records clearing, or a combination session, which is both in one session. And I'll pop a link to join that wait list in the show notes below. That wait list will be emailed as and when I open up one-off sessions. The second thing is that I am currently doing alignment calls for my one-to-one mentorship. So one-to-one mentorship is working with me for 6 months. There are two options in mentorship. One is business mentorship. So that's for qualified Akashic Records practitioners who really want some help getting started in business. It does include some personal mentorship in there as well, because of course, your business is often an extension of you and it's going to bring things up for you. It's going to bring up, for example, witch wounding. It's going to bring up fears and resistance in various different ways. So that's the Akashic Records practitioner mentorship. And I'm going to be starting the next intake in January for people who want to work with me one-on-one for that process. We, of course, utilize the Akashic Records, so Akashic Records readings, clearings, and also, of course, business readings. So reading your Akashic Records business records for you throughout that 6 months that we spend together. We also have the second option for mentorship, and this is Akashic-led spiritual mentorship. So again, it's 6 months with me. We utilize the Akashic Records in various ways and also practical tips and guidance in respect of your own spiritual development. Now, I only take in 10 people for mentorship across both of those mentorship options. So the business mentorship and the personal mentorship. And I currently only have 8 slots left. So if you do want to work with me long term, you want to really start 2026 with being able to receive that guidance and that assistance, whether it's in respect of your business or your own personal spiritual development, please do get applied for a call. I'm going to do those calls over November and December, and then that's going to be the last intake until summer of 2026. So I just wanted to make you aware of both of those in case you are interested in working with me one-to-one. Now that all of that is out of the way, let's get into our topic for today, which is 5 tips on how you can prepare for an Akashic Records reading. Lots of people will reach out to me and they'll say, I'm having an Akashic Records reading. What do I need to do beforehand? Is there anything specific that I need to do? And there actually isn't anything specific, because when you have an Akashic Records reading, you're not going into the Akashic Records. In an Akashic Records reading, what happens is the practitioner is going to open up your Akashic Records for you. Okay, so you're going to ask questions, and the Akashic Records practitioner acts as a channel, channeling through the information from your Akashic Records guides. So is there anything I have to do? There is nothing prescribed, but what I wanted to offer today is 5 tips on how you can best prepare for a reading if you're feeling inclined to go and book in an Akashic Records reading for yourself. And my intention with this is hopefully to make you feel a little bit more comfortable and a little bit more prepared, because going for an Akashic Records reading is a beautiful experience. It's amazing. And it can be so insightful. You can get guidance and information that can help you for years in an Akashic Records reading. But I know as well, sometimes people can be a little bit nervous. They can have a bit of anxiety around it, or maybe they're just a bit scared about what's going to come through. So I'm offering these tips to help you feel a little bit more prepared if you are booking yourself in for an Akashic Records reading. These tips are in no particular order of importance, so these are just some things that came to mind for me that I would advise you if you happen to reach out to me and ask me the question as to what to do to prepare. So for number 1, learn about the reader. It's great to take recommendations from people. You know, if your friend has maybe had an Akashic Records reading with someone, take a recommendation, absolutely, but also learn about the reader because each Akashic Records reader reads differently. And this is one of the beautiful things about the Akashic Records. When you're a practitioner, when you're an Akashic Records reader, you're in a relationship with the Akashic Records. It's a collaboration, and you're going to read the records through your own internal navigation system. So what that means is that sometimes readers are going to find that they focus on specific areas. So for example, with me, I focus very much on getting guidance and advice that's going to help you get into alignment with your soul in a way that is grounded and embodied. And what that means is that when it comes to, for example, past life information, I'm not going to spend our time together just talking to you about past lives. Okay? That's not how I read. When I read, we absolutely can get past life information through, but it's more to do with how past life events are affecting you in this current lifetime. So, for example, trauma that you might have experienced in a past life and how that is impacting you now and how that is keeping you out of alignment to your soul. Or another way that past life information may come through in a reading with me is in respect of soul contracts. So understanding, okay, why am I having this difficult relationship? Well, let's go back and look at your perhaps karmic connections with this person or your soul contracts with this person to understand why it's difficult in this current incarnation. So my focus is always about the alignment to the soul in this current lifetime. What guidance can they give to help you get into better alignment? That doesn't mean that Akashic Records practitioners who solely focus on past life information are doing it wrong or anything like that. Different readers focus on different things, which is why it's very important for you to learn about the reader. And that can be, going onto their social media, seeing what they're talking about, listening to their podcasts, watching YouTube videos. And if you are taking a recommendation from a friend, just ask the type of things that the reader brought through, because it might be that your friend wanted a specific type of reading and they found someone who reads that way, and that might not be the right fit for you. Okay, but do a little bit of research, learn about the reader, and trust your magnetic center. So we all have a magnetic center, and that's going to bring to us the teachings, the teachers, the practices, the practitioners who are right for us at that time. Okay, by going out and looking at the reader and finding out more information about them and hopefully how they read as well, what you're going to find is your magnetic center is going to say yes or it's going to say no. Okay, so very important to get to know a little bit about the person that you're booking in with. The second tip that really goes hand in hand with the first is learn about the reader, but also learn a little bit more about the Akashic Records. So you're in a great place to start listening to this podcast, and there's lots of episodes here that are going to help give you some guidance about what the Akashic Records are, what they're not, what they can help with, what they can't help with. But definitely do a little bit of research, because if you know the type of guidance that you're going to receive, and it's always going to be guidance, not instructions, it's not going to be, okay, go and do A and then B will happen and then do C and D will happen. It's always going to be guidance. Once you know a little bit more about it, that's going to help you prepare yourself for the reading. So do make sure that you have an understanding about what an Akashic Records reading is. If you're someone who has only perhaps had tarot readings or oracle card readings or mediumship readings, definitely worth paying a little bit of time to understand what the Akashic Records are and how they can help you. Tip number 3 is, once you've done that, you know a bit more about the Akashic Records and also the person who you're feeling that magnetic center pull to, is have a think about your questions. Now, again, different readers are going to give you guidance in respect of how many questions you can bring to a session. I know readers who offer 1 or 2 questions per session. I know readers who offer 10 questions per session. So do find out how many questions the reader recommends. I always say between 5 and 8 in a session with me. Doesn't mean we'll get to all of them, but oftentimes what you'll find is that the answer to one question will cover a couple of the questions, because the answers are always very long in the Akashic Records. So with me, I say 5 to 8. But do find out from the reader. And once you know how many questions to bring, have a think about the questions that you want to ask. There is a free ebook over on my website. If you haven't grabbed a copy, please do. It's 101 questions that work really well. Now, you do not have to only go with those 101 questions. They are just examples. But when it comes to crafting a question, if you start with a how, a what, or a why, so I'm looking for guidance, not instruction, by asking how, what, or why questions, they're usually good questions for the Akashic Records. Some readers will ask you to submit your questions prior to meeting with them. Other readers won't. And both are okay. Again, doesn't mean one person's better than the other. Different readers are going to read differently, and do find out what the reader expects from you in respect of that. Number 4 is if you do have fears coming up around an Akashic Records reading, maybe you've heard that they've been hijacked, maybe you've heard that it can be dangerous to go into the Akashic Records, both of which are not true, do express this to the reader, okay? Because it's very important that you have an open, trusting relationship with the person who you're going to go into the Akashic Records with, so who's going to go into the Akashic Records for you. And I have often had people come to a reading and they've expressed a little bit of a fear, or they've heard it's dangerous, and just by telling me that and me being able to talk them through it, hold space for that fear that they have, and going through it with them, it completely shifts the energy and it allows the person to be much more open into what they're going to receive from the Akashic Records. So if you are finding that those fears are coming up, those anxieties are coming up, before you get started in the reading with the reader, just have a little bit of a chat with them. And I'm sure they're going to help allay all of your fears and make sure that you feel okay. The last tip is get excited about an Akashic Records reading. Honestly, they are so much fun. You can get so much good guidance there. Your Akashic Records guides have so much love for you. They really are excited to be able to have this direct channel of communication with you and give you this direct guidance. So do get excited about it, but also be very open-minded about what you receive. So oftentimes we can go in with preconceived ideas, preconceptions about what it is we're going to hear or what the answer is going to be. And if you remain open-minded and just allow the information to come through, what you'll often find is that some information will resonate straight away and it'll be exactly what you need and it'll give you some really good guidance. And then other information that comes through might need a little bit of time to marinate. So it might need a little bit of time to be digested by your energetic system. This is just the way that the Akashic Records work, and this definitely is the way when you're working with your own Akashic Records, is sometimes the guidance is just straightforward, okay, really resonates, makes sense. Other times it's like, okay, I can take that, but I'm not sure. That information that you're receiving from the Akashic Records is designed to work upon you. So that's why I say let it marinate, think about it, take some information into your spiritual practice, whether that's meditation, whether that's body work, but take it in and just let it marinate, let it work upon you. Because it can be the case that sometimes you'll have a reading, information will come through, and then a year later, you have this aha moment, and it's based on the information that you got in that Akashic Records reading 12 months ago. Okay? So do be open-minded and do let stuff just marinate and reveal itself to you. I hope that you have found these tips helpful. I hope it's given you a little bit of help and a little bit of inspiration for those of you who are going to be booking in for Akashic Records readings with whichever practitioners you're feeling called to. I do hope you find this helpful. And I, of course, will see you next week for the next episode.